Hello and welcome to Chadify. Today we'll be analyzing 3 new individuals who purchased my face analysis, Looksmaxxing suggestions, and chatification service off my website, chatify.me. I would like to thank each of these 3 individuals for allowing me to showcase the results here and to support the channel Chadify. I am not a medical professional, however, I do have a well-researched and documented opinion on the matter after rating over 1,000 faces. I will be employing a mathematical rating criterion that I developed. On to face number 1, guys. He's 23 years old, 160 pounds at 5'11". Here's another photo of him. We got the side view and we got an angle shot as well as a smiling shot. Face number 1 is of Pakistani descent. However, that is a strong match of the Indian phenotype. If you do not know what a phenotype is, check out my series on ethnicities or phenotypes, which is a better characterization of ethnicities if you want to learn more. That series is an ongoing process. He also is a moderate match of the Orientalid phenotype of the Middle East. Pakistani people do have quite a bit of an Arabian influence on their physical appearance and of course their culture, as well as the Iranian phenotype of Persia. So you can really see how face number 1 is actually a blend of these 3 different phenotypes, so like a higher correlation or connection here denoted in green all the way to a more yellow or moderate match on the right, meaning that he's closest to the Indian phenotype. On to face number 1's best features in order of importance. First of all, he has very thick hair, albeit a rounded off hairline. Secondly, face number 1 has a straightforward grown mandible, which is so apparent in this side view profile. He also has an ideal gonial angle of 112.5 degrees with a near parallel to ground mandible angle here of close to about 10 to maybe 12 degrees, which gives his jaw a masculine appearance. Fourthly, he has a compact midface of the ideal 1:1 ratio, and he has positive canthal and brow tilt. Face number 1 has short eye-eyebrow distance, and he has great chin projection, which is absolutely apparent from the side profile. Face number 1 has a gonian which undercuts his mouth substantially, and he has deep-set, highly compact eye orbitals. For many Indian phenotype people, this can be a bit of a flaw, where they can have very bulbous eye orbitals. In his case, he nails it. Additionally, he has a defined Cupid's bow, and he has dark, thick eyebrows and eyelashes, which is important for the Indian phenotype. And finally, face number 1 has full lips. On to the flaws. Face number 1. First of all, face number 1 has a narrowing lower third and protrusion of his middle third, denoted in the red lines here. Ultimately, your cheekbones shouldn't necessarily project so far outward that your upper third, or your forehead region, and your lower third, the jaw region, are more narrow. Ideally, there should be more bulk in this region. Secondly, face number 1 has eye bags, which are extremely prominent in the smiling shot and a massive flaw. Thirdly, face number 1 has a rounded off hairline and a forehead which is larger than ideal. This isn't like a massive flaw because remember, his hair is absolutely excellent. The dilemma here is that his forehead is giving off a more female appearance as it is not squared off. Face number 1 has a larger chin than ideal than the outer jaw regions, as well as a slightly rounded off chin. Ultimately, you would want the chin to be more equal with the outer jaws, and this is partly due to his narrowing lower third, as well as it being squared off in appearance more. Face number 1 has close-set eyebrows, and he has a slight nasal asymmetry where the septum is deviating towards the left side of the face more than ideal. Extremely minor flaw. Face number 1 has smaller eye size than ideal. How do I measure this? Well, the ES ratio is literally in that perfect range at 0.48, but his eye separation ratio is 115% of one eye width apart. This means that his eye area in the center is too big, and that denotes the eyes being a little bit too small in size. Guess face number 1's rating, guys. We got our pretty boy blend of masculinity scale here. Boom, 6 out of 10. It's pretty obvious that face number 1 is above average for the Indian phenotype. And he peaks at the pretty boy zone at 6.5 out of 10. Whereas from the more masculine area, he's definitely below average at 4 out of 10 and 3 out of 10 from the hyper masculine area respectively. This may change as he ages, however. Looksmaxxing advice, face number 1. Let's do it. First of all, gym, gain gain muscle. What do I mean by this? Well, thicken up that neck. This will work for his circumstance. Dimorphism states that even pretty boys can benefit from gaining muscle. He should lean out further so he can get a more hollow cheekbone effect, as well as add gonian mass. Of course, this leads into mastic chewing gum, which also adds gonian thickness. I have a referral link. I use Spartan Health gum constantly. This product is definitely helpful if you want to hypertrophy the masseter muscles of your lower third. Obviously, if you already have an excellent jawline, this may not be required if you're genetically predisposed to such a condition. However, for most people, we can benefit from more of that lower third hypertrophy. And then eyebrow maintenance, we can just remove the part of his eyebrow that's overhanging his medial canthus. This is a very minor thing to touch up, but it will make a very nice difference, as you'll see in the chatification later. And then hairstyle, like these are all different Looksmaxxing ideas that face number one can tackle without any surgery and invasive procedures. However, there are other things he can do, like hairline lowering / restructuring. What do I mean by this? Well, he can square off his forehead and make it way more ideal. Ultimately, you'll see in the chatification later, but bringing it down ever so slightly and making it a bit more squared off will increase his dimorphism and his facial attractiveness substantially. Secondly, a rhinoplasty simply to fix his deviated septum or crooked nose, should be a bracket there, would be helpful, but it's very minor. Eyelid fillers, they could be a little bit more squinted in appearance. There are many more procedures that would likely be required to fully chatify face number one. However, when you see all this in tandem with one another, the guy becomes extremely attractive. These are hard Looksmaxxing tactics. Time to chatify face number one. Let's do this. With infinite budget comes literally infinite possibilities. Let's take him up to the A+ level of attractiveness. Boom. Holy crap. I mean, we're literally doing exactly those things. Squaring off the forehead, adding more gonian thickness, making his eyelid area more hunter eyelid appearance using eyelid fillers and different things. I mean, face number one has potential here. And his nose asymmetry completely removed. Here's a quick breakdown of what my website includes. First of all, you get a face rating out of 10 with detailed analysis, Looksmaxxing suggestions, and one chatified photo, including a morph video which showcases your before and after transformation. All of this is done while taking your masculinity, which ranges between males, and your phenotype or ethnicity into consideration. I have add-ons. My first is adding more chatified images. This is very common, and you will see it later on in this video. Many people want not only the front view chatified, but the side profiles and other angles. Also have a quick delivery option here, which allows you to get your results under 24 hours. And of course, for the people who want the craziest detail, I also offer a full private video. Also, you can see his eye bags getting better, and then I simulated longer hair, which actually could look very attractive in his circumstance. Face number two, guys. He's 61 years old, 172 pounds, 5'8.5". He also included his body fat, which is an estimated 29%. I would say that his facial definition, maybe not from the side view as much, but from the front, as you can see in these photos, is quite good. This means that as he leans up further, his face is gonna have that nice masculine width to it. And then we got some smiling shots. His style is absolutely immaculate. So face number two is a strong match to the Celtic phenotype. In my eyes, this guy definitely looks like he could be from the British Isles, or at least that North Anglo-Saxon Celtic area. He has blue eyes, which definitely fit the Celtic phenotype, and his overall facial features. Best features in order of importance. Let's do it. So first of all, he has an excellent smile. His facial harmony while smiling is through the roof. Not only are they straight here, but they have that nice, slightly round yet also slightly straight appearance to them. Everything is just properly put together. Secondly, he has hooded eyes with negligible upper eyelid exposure. This can come with age in some cases. I've seen people in my own family who had almond eye shape when they were younger, which then eventually became more hooded. In some ways, this could be even something to look forward to if you have high upper eyelid exposure. It doesn't always pan out this way. However, in his case, it is a strong feature. Face number two has a structurally straight, forward-grown mandible. What do I mean by this? Well, obviously he does have some hyoid fat and facial fat right now, simply hindering its appearance. That is the case. However, underneath, these areas of his face are quite structurally sound. So I think as he cuts, this is going to become much more apparent. Fourthly, face number two is a very wide mid-face of 1.92 to 1. This is slightly nuanced because his front profile in some shots almost had a slight frowning appearance to them, and that warped his mid-face to look less wide as a result. But in reality, I would say that this photo here is actually far more accurate, as it was taken from far away, no lens distortion, and he's making a straight face, neither smiling nor is he frowning. So it's definitely quite wide at 1.92. He's short eye-eyebrow distance, and he has ideal eye spacing with an ES ratio of 0.47 and an eye separation of literally exactly 100% of one eye width apart. Face number 2 is thick, luscious hair despite a slightly high hairline. This is absolutely impressive for his age. Additionally, he has equal thirds of facial width. They all equal each other here. And he has a thick, built-up neck with a ratio of 1.15 his bigonial width to neck width. He has good chin projection, and he has a forward-grown maxilla, which is amazing for his age. As you get older, the maxillary development of the face or structure can remodel, and as it remodels, it may start to become more recessed or sunken down. Face number 2 does not seem to be affected at all by this situation, and even if he is, it's still in the ideal area. And finally, he has excellent blue eye color, which fits the Celtic phenotype, might be even close to a more turquoise appearance. Facial flaws in order of importance, face number 2. First of all, he does have visible signs of aging. We will be taking a slightly different approach, as he is very attractive for his given age. Secondly, he has high weight fat and a high body fat percentage, currently at 29%. Thirdly, his hair is graying. From an age calibrated perspective, this is not an issue at all. And secondly, it doesn't necessarily detract from his facial appearance as much as, say, wrinkles or high weight fat. Fourthly, he does have some signs of hair loss, again, extremely nuanced because, like I said before, his hair density and follicle count is incredible for his age. It's more from the front here that I think having his hair lowered slightly would be ideal, and he has lighter eyebrows than ideal. Face number 2's Gonian lacks some overall definition. That is partly due to having a slightly higher body fat percentage currently, and he has thin lips. Finally, face number 2 does have a slightly long mid-face, which is connected to his thin lips, causing his philtrum to look a little bit longer than ideal. He has some less significant flaws, but these are the main ones that are holding him back currently. So something interesting here, guys, is that these are age-related flaws. When you have more than 1 or 2 highly age-related flaws that are significant, age-calibrated analysis is required. This means that face number 2 should be compared against his given age cohort. Face number 2 is a beautiful smile. He has many incredible features, yet he's going to score a lot lower than the average 20-year-old male. This is simply the reality because of his age. I don't want people that are older to shy away from my service. I'll tell you the many reasons why. Improving facial attractiveness is not exclusive to a certain or specific age. The idea here is that everyone has a different reason for wanting and desiring their optimal physical appearance. Face number 2 may have a totally different reason from another guy that's around his age. Many men that are older may feel less motivated because they don't get that age calibrated score. Age calibration is key because aging is not something you can control to a high degree. I am not Brian Johnson. I don't have an anti-aging protocol just yet. But one thing I do know is that it doesn't matter what age you are. As long as you're in a healthy state, you can improve your physical attractiveness, whether face or body. So guess face number 2's rating. This is what he scores against the total population of males, a 4 out of 10, peaking from the more masculine zone at about 4.75 out of 10. So this is anywhere from 18 years old all the way up to infinite range here. The truth is, face number 2 is objectively a 7 out of 10 for his age cohort. He definitely is very attractive, but his age-related situation is knocking off points when you compare him against 20-year-olds. There's nothing wrong with that because for his own age cohort, he's killing it. And there's more ways to improve going forward, which we'll dive into. Looksmaxxing advice. A caloric deficit is required in his situation. face number 2 likely should lose about 15 more pounds. If face number 2 does this while lifting a ton of weights, like squatting, benching, deadlifting, overhead pressing, if he body recomps and loses some weight, that hyoid area will look so much better from the side profile. It'll just look amazing. Secondly, hair dye, eyebrow dye, castor oil. So this is definitely a focus of his chatification. I think his eyebrows definitely should be dyed. Thickening them up would be ideal. Thirdly, a hairline lowering, not required at all because he already has excellent hair thickness and density. Rather, it's just to square off his forehead a bit better. Face number 2 also should look into a beard maxing. The idea is to get it a bit more squared off in the chin area because it's a little bit rounded off here. If we could get this part right where my cursor is a little bit longer, but then keep this part short still, he can create a bit more of a square. This is not necessarily required at all, but if he wants to take it to that next level, which involves maybe a less natural tactics, he could, and it will make a difference if done responsibly. He has excellent style already. I love this shirt. I should get one of these. Pairing things with his lighter eye color is smart. Time to Chadify face number 2. Let's do it. Boom. Wow, you're really seeing his potential here. The curve shifting to the right here as he gets more attractive, and his hair gets dyed a bit, and his beard, he literally is already a Chad light for his age cohort. It's literally incredible. Looks amazing. I went a little browner with the hair here as well, and then I even grew it out. I feel like he looks like the character Brad Pitt plays in The Big Short. Like he literally looks a little bit like him in this shot here. Chatified, but literally just incredible transformation, which I believe is possible to some extent, whether he wants to go this far with it, but this is incredible. And then we got another chatification here. This one I dyed his hair a little bit less, but I still gave it kind of that appearance overall, and still very attractive man for his age. Face number 3, 45 years old, 185 pounds at 5'5". This guy's a little bit older than average, but he's not outside that window where we necessarily need age calibration. Side angle shot here and a smiling shot. I think face number 3 has a very unique appearance because he's actually associated with the negritid phenotype, which is a phenotype present in Asia, the Philippines, in the Andalusian Islands, all across. They're not remotely African actually, but they're very dark Asians. Best features in order of importance, face number 3. So his morphological phenotypic traits align the textbook case of his phenotype. This means that things like his philtrum, his nasal shape correspond with his phenotype. He has full lips. Again, that is a phenotypic trait in his circumstance that fits. He's extreme positive canthal tilt. I would even say that this is somewhat related to his morphology as well, simply because many people from that region of the planet have very positive canthal tilt. Additionally, he has strong supraorbital arches. This means that it's not just his brow ridge, but actually the structure of his eyes, which are extremely prominent. Additionally, face number 3, he has an excellent smile, albeit his teeth are a bit yellowed, and he has smooth skin texture despite being 45. Obviously, with very dark and vibrant skin tone, your wrinkles, not only do they progress slower, but they're a bit more difficult to notice. And in his case, he just looks way younger than 45. Face number 3 has a defined cupid's bow and excellent vermilion border of his lips. So the idea here is that face number 3 actually has very good facial harmony, pretty good symmetry, and he has some other facial features which I'm not really listing here that are very much beneficial in his case. He's different than many of the males that we've rated so far because he's from a phenotype far away from typical males in our region. As a result, the rating system does have to take into consideration much different criteria. On to the flaws. Face number 3, let's do it. First of all, he does have a very recessed chin, which could be related to an overbite situation, meaning that his lower jaw is very recessed. He does have very straight teeth, but you can see the shaded area right here, insinuating or at least giving a clue that his bottom jaw is too far back. Additionally, face number 3 has high body fat percentage with a plethora of hyoid fat and sag. It literally is sagging down like crazy, causing a somewhat female appearance. Does have a lot of female dimorphism going on, which is hindering his facial appearance. He also is bald with high hair loss. He's extreme eyebrow distance here, and he has yellow teeth, as mentioned earlier. Face number 3 is thin, light, swooped eyebrows. You can see how they're not very rigid and straight here. And he's high upper eyelid exposure. Additionally, face number 3 has a longer philtrum than ideal. However, this is a nuanced situation because this phenotype allows for a longer philtrum than the stereotypical European-looking Chad. 1.5 is still lower than the threshold of attractiveness for his given phenotype. And then finally, face number 3 has wide set eyes. His ES ratio is great at 0.48, but his eye separation is quite horrible at 140% of one eye width apart. For his given phenotype, having slightly wide set eyes is okay, but anything above 120% becomes a massive flaw. Of course, face number 3 has some less significant flaws, so guess face number 3's rating, guys. 5 out of 10. Facial attractiveness from the blend perspective, peaking in the pretty boy zone at 6 out of 10, and far lower from the masculine area, being easily sub 5. So guys, do you agree with the ratings that I gave each of these 3 individuals in this video? I personally love this video. We have 3 people who are completely different ages, different phenotypes or ethnicities, and finally completely different looks in terms of masculinity. Basically, this video in a nutshell is human diversity. Similar to face number 2, but much more important in this case. An estimated 35 pounds plus of weight should be lost because face number 3 has excess adipose tissue accumulation and high sag, which is giving off a feminine appearance. Face number 3 should look into either shaving his head completely bald or a hair transplant. Either method will work in his case, as his phenotype does allow for a slightly more attractive shaved head appearance. Teeth whitening because he has a good smile, but they are a bit yellowed, and he should definitely look into this. We don't want to mess with straight teeth necessarily unless it is a good idea to do so. This is the thing. If he gets orthodontics, he's going to need braces and all that, and he already has straight teeth. However, bringing that bottom jaw forward is critical. But there is a second option, and that's chin augmentation through a genioplasty or other procedure, maybe even some fillers. If we can get that chin forward, he's going to look way more attractive. Time to Chatify face number 3. Let's see this guy more masculine. Holy crap. And I know it's quite dark because of his skin tone to see. We're keeping his morphological phenotypic traits the same, but we're fixing the flaws which are absolutely apparent. And you can really see how face number 3 has potential here as he just gets absolutely transformed and he gets more muscular. The guy is very attractive. I also simulated some hairstyle chatification variants here with silver hair because he might have a slightly grayed out appearance already. I actually think that kind of looks unique in his case, but he can also dye it more brown or black. And this is just kind of a short afro appearance. They have very kinky hair texture, looks very attractive, but he doesn't even need the hair necessarily. Then we get the side profile chatification here. Whoa, do you see how that changes? You're seeing how the chin is just completely altered. That is where he scores a 5. Maybe from the front view, you could argue that he's more attractive, but from the side profile, that's what's keeping him from getting further ahead. And if we can get that jawline forward, he's gonna look so much more attractive. And then I did the bold version. Anyways, guys, I think that this guy's a really incredible situation here. I probably have more people from the negritid phenotype all across Asia who watch my videos. And if you are from that area, I highly recommend you check out my service. It's very difficult to find good advice out there for this unique circumstance. Most people from this phenotype think, oh, I gotta do something that Europeans do. Not necessarily. And on a final note, if any of you guys are interested in being showcased in a YouTube video who have already purchased my service, feel free to reach out. My service is fully private and confidential, but if you would like to be showcased in a future video, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time.